Hello, students. Have you ever stopped to think about how something so small that you can't even see it can be as complex and as busy as a whole city? Well, today we are going to take a journey into the amazing world inside the cell and discover the tiny services that keep it alive.
So that's our big question for today. How does a single tiny cell manage to do so many complicated things? The secret really is all about teamwork. You see, the cell is full of tiny, specialized parts called organelles, and each one of these organelles has a very specific and very important job.
To understand this little living factory, we'll look at four main departments. First, we will visit the powerhouse to see where all the energy comes from. Then, we'll look at the storage and support systems. After that, we will meet the waste disposal crew, and finally, we'll put it all together in a nice summary.
Okay, let's begin with part one, the cell's powerhouse. Just like any factory or city needs electricity to run, a cell needs energy. So the first question is, where does it get this fuel from? Let's find out.
And here is our answer, the mitochondria. Now, this is a name that you should definitely remember for your exams. Why? Because mitochondria are the powerhouses, the little energy generators of the cell.
Now, what's really fascinating about the mitochondrion is its clever design. It has two membranes, or coverings. The outer one is quite porous, but if you look at the inner one, you'll see it's deeply folded. Why do you think it is like that? Well, these folds create a much larger surface area. This gives more space for all the chemical reactions that generate energy to happen. It's quite simple, really. More surface area means more energy production. The energy that the mitochondria produce is stored in a special molecule. This molecule is called adenosine triphosphate, or for short, ATP. The best way to think of ATP is like a tiny, fully charged battery. The cell uses these little ATP batteries to power everything it does, from making new proteins to moving around. Okay, so our factory now has power. What about supplies? And what about the building structure itself? For that, we need to understand the cell's storage and support systems. Now here we come to a very important difference between plant cells and animal cells, and this is a detail that often comes up in exams. We are talking about plastids. You will find these organelles only in plant cells, and they perform some incredibly important jobs. This table here breaks down the three main types of plastids very clearly. First, we have chloroplasts. These contain the green pigment called chlorophyll, and this is where photosynthesis happens, the process plants use to make their own food. Next are the chromoplasts, which have yellow and orange pigments. They're the reason that fruits and flowers have such beautiful, bright colors. And finally, we have leucoplasts. These are colorless, and they act like the plant cell's pantry, storing important things like starch, oils, and proteins. Next, let's look at vacuoles. You can think of these as the cell's storage sacs. Now, you will find vacuoles in both plant and animal cells, but as we are about to see, their size and therefore their main job can be very, very different depending on the type of cell. And the difference in size is just huge. In animal cells, the vacuoles are small, almost like little temporary cupboards. But in plant cells, there is a massive central vacuole that takes up most of the space. It can occupy from 50 up to 90% of the entire cell volume. This enormous size allows it to do much more than just store things. You see, this large vacuole fills up with water and what we call cell sap, and it pushes firmly against the cell wall. This pressure provides two very important things, turgidity and rigidity. Think of it like the air inside a bicycle tire. The air pushes against the rubber, keeping the tire firm and strong. The vacuole does the same thing for a plant cell, and this is what helps the whole plant to stand up straight and strong. Now, any busy factory will generate some waste, and our cell is no different. To keep running smoothly, it needs a very efficient cleanup crew. So let's meet the cell's waste disposal team. This very important job is handled by organelles called lysosomes. Think of them as small, round bags filled with very powerful digestive enzymes that are ready to break down any unwanted material. So, what is their job exactly? Well, you can think of them as the cell's recycling and security team. They hunt down and digest any foreign material, like harmful bacteria. They also break down old, worn-out organelles, recycling their parts so the cell can use them again. In short, they are absolutely essential for keeping the cell clean and healthy. But lysosomes have another, more dramatic nickname. They are sometimes called suicide bags. Now, that sounds quite serious, doesn't it?
As it turns out, there is a very fascinating and very important reason for this name.
So here is why. If a cell becomes badly damaged, perhaps due to an injury or infection, its lysosomes can burst. When this happens, their powerful digestive enzymes are released into the cell, and they digest the entire cell from the inside out. It's like a self-destruct mechanism that protects the rest of the body by safely removing a damaged cell.
All right, let us put all of this together now. We've met the powerhouses, the storage units, and the cleanup crew. So let's look at the complete picture of how this incredible little factory operates. This shows us the beautiful functional cycle of the cell. It all starts with the mitochondria, which handle energy production by making that vital ATP. This energy then powers the cell's storage functions done by plastids and vacuoles, and also the support provided by the central vacuole in plants. Finally, the lysosomes handle waste removal, keeping everything clean. It is a perfect system where every part depends on the others. So the key takeaway, as your textbook puts it so well, is that the cell has a basic structural organization. It is this incredible organized system of organelles all working together that allows the cell to carry out all the essential functions of life. And that is exactly why the cell is called the fundamental unit of all living things. And to finish, I want to leave you with a question to think about. We've learned how important vacuoles are for both storage and for providing rigidity to plant cells. So what do you think would happen to a whole plant if all of its vacuoles suddenly stopped working? Think about that, and we can discuss it next time.